Woman fights back tears after appraiser shares the real value of grandma's painting. It looked like the kind of ordinary painting you'd see at your local library, or maybe your dentist's office. Even the woman who owned the art thought it was just something that looked good on her grandmother's wall. But when she brought the piece to Antiques Roadshow, she confronted a hidden truth. And it made her question everything she knew about her grandmother, her family's past, and her own future.
Before we begin, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell for more amazing videos.
Some families may pass down vintage pearls or delicate furniture, but the young woman's heirloom was that artwork. The print of a Native American tribe leisurely walking down a mountainside had always hung right above her grandmother's bed. And for years, she had barely paid any attention to it. Why did her grandmother attach such sentimental value to what seemed to be a reproduction of an ordinary painting? Even the woman wasn't sure where the piece came from or why her grandmother loved it so much, but she was able to come up with a theory, albeit an unusual one. Her dad, I'm guessing, would have given it to her after she spent the summer at a dude ranch when she was 19, the owner of the work suggested on Antiques Roadshow. Based on family history, she guessed that her grandma got the print sometime in the 1940s. The woman wasn't even sure if the work was indeed a reproduction. She couldn't have known it then, but the difference in value between a painting and a print can be thousands of dollars, perhaps more. And while she may have assumed the work wasn't an original, a nerve-wracking incident planted a seed of doubt in her mind. When I got the print, there was a mosquito underneath the glass, the woman told Meredith Hilferty, an Antiques Roadshow master appraiser. So, I took it out to the front yard, and I opened it up. Face to face with the print for the first time, she couldn't help but notice something odd about the piece of art. In order to honor her grandmother's wishes, the young woman had intended on bringing the print with her to college. But as soon as she brushed away the mosquito, something else caught her eye. It scared me a little, she told Hilferty. I closed it back up immediately. With a jolt, the student realized that the print wasn't traveling with her to college. Instead, it had to go to an Antiques Roadshow appraiser. Yep, she needed to know once and for all whether what she'd seen was authentic or not. In the meantime, she did some research on her own. It looked like it might be real, the woman told Hilferty of the print/painting. And she remembered a key piece of information: her family had actually gotten the artwork appraised before. Twice, in fact. Each time, they had walked away with a decidedly disappointing number. In 1998 it was appraised as a print at $200, the young woman recalled. In 2004 it was appraised at $250. All her life, she'd assumed that her grandmother's favorite work of art was only worth the price of a cheap suit. But after she saw the print or painting? Up close, she knew she had to do some Googling. It helped that the artist had written the date and his own name on the back of the painting. 1892, H.F. Farney, it read. And when she researched those details, the owner of the painting was greeted with a pleasant surprise. Farney had received quite a bit of acclaim in the latter half of the 1800s, and his admirers had included Theodore Roosevelt. Farney, the nation owes you a great debt, Roosevelt once said to the painter. It does not realize it now, but it will someday. You are preserving for future generations phases of American history that are rapidly passing away. And as she continued her research, the young woman couldn't help but wonder if she was a part of that future generation. The piece had already had sentimental value for the woman, but now she had potentially thousands of reasons to get the painting appraised. She couldn't get the artwork's rich history out of her mind either. Farney had been on a quest for inspiration, and he had found it in the American Midwest. The French-born artist once said, "The plains, the buttes, the whole country, and its people are fuller of material for the artist than any country in Europe." And Farney was fascinated by Native Americans so much so that he followed them in their travels. He has associations with the Sioux tribe, the owner of the painting excitedly told Hilferty. That wasn't all the woman had discovered about Farney's passion for Native American life. They actually adopted him, she said. She pointed out the symbol, a small dot, under Farney's name. They gave him a cipher, long boots. That was the end of her knowledge, but thankfully Hilferty was able to fill in some of the blanks. First off, Hilferty confirmed the woman's suspicion that the piece was, in fact, an original painting. "This piece is really interesting," she began. It's a dense group of figures, which is very desirable in Farney's work. Already, things were looking good, but Hilferty wasn't done listing the piece's winning qualities. 1890 is around when we start seeing some of his very best paintings, the expert said of Farney. The fact that this artwork was inscribed with the year 1892 meant the young woman had a special piece of history in her hands. The best part of the art, according to Hilferty, was the unique way in which Farney depicted Native American life. He represented the Native Americans in a very peaceful, tranquil way, Hilferty noted. He didn't ever really bring conflict into his work as some of the other artists from that time did. This alone gives the painting a newfound layer of meaning. It was a symbol of peace, not hostility, which was rare for that time period. History aside, of course, the woman still had her ultimate question: how much was the painting worth? And Hilferty answered, if we were going to put this in an auction today, I would suggest an estimate of $200,000 to $300,000. The shock on the woman's face when she heard the staggering estimate? It was totally priceless. The owner and her family had believed the painting was worth no more than $250. And the revelation that it could in fact earn a small fortune left her speechless. Fighting tears, she asked Hilferty, so I can't hang it up? Anyone in such an unusual situation would have had similar concerns. Surely such a valuable piece of art shouldn't go back to hanging on the wall, right? So, I'll keep it away from my dog, the woman joked. But she was also weighing up a big decision. With hundreds of thousands of dollars hanging in the balance, the woman had a choice to make: keep the painting in the family as her grandmother intended, or sell it for a potentially life-changing sum of money? Nobody could figure out the right answer but her. The owner said she needed more time to consider what to do with her precious heirloom, but we'd be surprised if she didn't at least look into selling it. The Antiques Roadshow team are usually experts at spotting diamonds in the rough, and they certainly didn't miss the mark this time. Please share this with your friends and family.